Yo, what's up everyone? So I've got for you today another very highly requested video topic, and that is what are the best in slot Melomon and moves for each spec. Now that's something I didn't fully cover in the Know Everything About Melomon's video, so let's go through that now together, and I'll do my best to explain what is the best for each of the specs, and let's start off with DPS. So, DPS, the best main Melomon that you can equip is the Demon Hound. The reason it is the best is because of its main ability here called Pure Malice. Whenever you trigger either a critical hit or determination, increase damage by 72%. This number is because I have this Melomon skill at a higher level. By the way, the starting number is a little bit lower. When triggering both a crit hit and determination, the damage bonus stacks. This is incredible. I mean, I don't have to say how good this is, so if you get both a crit hit and a determination in the same hit, you get 144% damage increase. That's a lot of damage, as one would say. So this is universally the best DPS pet for all DPS. Now, when it comes to supports, I just want to mention, and this is the same for all classes, these support Melomon, it doesn't matter which ones you put here, you're only putting the ones that you have the most dupes of, that you don't need their skill leveled up. Because leveling up their stars and leveling up their special skills both takes dupes, these fragments here. So if you know, hey, I'm not going to use this Melomon at all, then you can put it as a support and use all of the dupes to star it up in order to get you more stats as a support. That's the best approach for these. So you don't have to say, gee, do I need a specific Melomon in support? No. Whatever is the highest stats that doesn't have a special skill that you need, put them in support. Simple as that. And that's the truth for all specs, all classes, healer, tank, DPS. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, back to DPS. So, like I said, the best main Melomon is the Demon Hound. And then as far as the best support skills, Your Turn, which is the support skill of the Demon Hound, plus Echo, which comes from Ice Valley Colt, plus, when we eventually unlock this slot, Sharpness of Claw, which is from Blade Hound. Now, these special skills are all giving you damage. There are some guides that will tell you to use a pet that gives attack, sometimes Thunder's special ability, Arcane Resonance, but after doing quite a lot of testing, we have determined that damage scaling for DPS is the way to go. It is just so much better than any attack percentage can give you. So that's why all three pets you will run on the support skills are damage related. Your Turn, Echo, Sharpness of Claw. So this is the best in slot for DPS. Now, when it comes to moves, unfortunately I don't have full best in slot here, but I will. Probably the easiest would be to show, I think, in the camp. If I go to create moves, or can I get a list of all the moves? Yeah, this is probably easiest to show the best in slot moves here. So the best in slot moves for DPS, you know, you have 4 slots. I'm jumping around a bit, bear with me. You have 4 slots. You have your attack slot, you have your defense slot, and you have your 2 balance slots. This next one here, the 4th one, will unlock at level 80. So attack slot, defense slot, balance, balance. So we have 4 best in slot moves that we need to determine. So now let's go here. I'm going to go to create moves so I can show you the list again. So the best in slot for attack is crit damage for DPS. This is all for DPS though. So crit damage is your best Melomon move for the attack slot. This is an extremely hard stat to find in any other places, therefore it is the best one to get for this slot. So you would run crit damage. For your defensive slot, you would either run HP or alternatively Evasion. So both of these are just about fine. I might run Evasion more so on an assassin than, for example, an archer class. So both are fine. So you'd run Evasion or HP on your defense slot, and then for your first balance slot, you'd run. Let me find it here quickly. It's not balance. I always forget which one it is. Superb Expertise. That's the one. So for your first balance slot, you're gonna run Superb Expertise, which is the determination and endurance move. Then, finally, your fourth slot will be whatever your build is missing. So you run crit damage plus evasion or HP plus determination, endurance, and then your fourth slot is whatever you're missing. If you need a little more crit, then you can run the crit rate. You can run the crit rate balance one. If you need haste, you can run the haste one. If you need mastery, you can run the mastery one. If you need a bit more accuracy, you can run the accuracy one. So you should basically approach it this way: the first three, crit damage, evasion or HP, determination, endurance, and the fourth slot will be whatever your build is missing. So that is a good way to approach it, and those are your best in slot for DPS. Now let's move on to healer. Now for healer, I will start by saying that everything I've just said for DPS also applies to healer's DPS spec. So if you're playing a healer and you're running your DPS spec, for example, in Dragon or something like that, everything I've just said for DPS also applies to healer. Now, with healer, the best main Melomon for your heal spec, your healing spec, is the Snow Leopard, specifically for the skill Hunting Tactics, which increases your haste and all damage. Haste being a very important stat for healers. Now, this is the best main Melomon, and then for your heal spec, support skills, you will run, let me just make sure that I have the right ones here. So you will run Book of Answers, which is the Smarty support skill, randomly increase crit rate, haste, and determination every 20 seconds, plus Arcane Resonance. And finally, when you unlock the third slot, you'll run Invisible Friend. The reason you run these two last ones is because attack scales your heals. Your heals scale off attack, so the more attack you get, the better your heals will be, the more healing you will have, healing output. So again, your main Melomon for healing spec is going to be Snow Leopard, plus the support skills of Book of Answers, Arcane Resonance, and Invisible Friend. And again, the DPS spec would be the same as what I've just explained for DPS. Now for moves, because healing also scales off of similar stats that scaled your DPS off of, you will actually run pretty much the same moves as I've just explained for DPS. So whatever I've explained for DPS also applies for healer's heal spec. So crit damage, then evasion or HP, third slot determination, endurance, and fourth slot whatever your build is missing in order to get to the desired stats. So whether that's accuracy or mastery or haste, etc. Now moving on to tank, again the same thing I've just said about healer also applies for tank. If you're using your tank in DPS spec, you can use the same spec that I've described for DPS. So it'll be Demon Hound, best in slot for tank DPS. However, let's talk about tank in its tank spec. So your best in slot Melomon for your tank spec is Blade Hound, because of this damage reduction in its main skill. So that is the best tanking pet. With regards to what support skills you would run with it, pretty much you would run, I'll show you which ones here, let me just find them quickly. So for tank, you're gonna run so to be honest, there's only one really essential needed skill here, and it's actually not a legendary one. It is Reappear. When taking fatal damage, immediately complete the awakening charge and become immune to all damage, and then die after 5 seconds. But watch what happens when you rank this up. Survival time increases from 5 seconds to 23 seconds. This means as a tank, if you ever do die, you get 23 seconds of additional survival time with which you can keep your team going. Now, if you've done any content in the game, 23 seconds of extra survival time for a tank is really, really big. That's really, really enough time to potentially kill a hard trial you're on, you know, or to tank a more challenging boss, etc. That's a lot of time that could really make it or break it for a kill. So Reappear, which is this epic skill, is essential. And then after that, it's pretty much your choice. So I would say you could run Reappear plus, like, for example, Echo and Your Turn for more DPS in your tank spec. But really, ultimately, you're going to run this and then have a flexible choice for the other 2 support skills as a tank. When it comes to moves, then you basically going to have in your attack slot as a tank. This is still tank spec. Tank spec attack slot is going to be crit damage, just like DPS. But then your defense slot is going to be endurance. This is important. So for your tank spec, your second defense slot move is going to be endurance. Let me open up the moves menu again here. So wherever endurance is, I believe, is it, yeah, damage resist, this one. So this is going to be your best in slot for the defensive slot for tanks. Sorry, I'm waffling a little bit, bear with me. So tank best in slot, crit damage in the attack slot, endurance in the defense slot, then third slot determination endurance, and then fourth slot, again, a flex slot for you to fill in whenever your build is missing. So this is the best way to approach the Melomon and moves in the game. I know this was a little bit chaotic in how I was explaining it, but hopefully you're able to break down exactly what I was saying here. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. We'll take a look and respond when we can. And hope you learned something today. So that's basically the best Melomons and moves that you can have right now. This is mostly for pre-CC1. Some of these might change a little bit for post-class change, but not a whole, not that different, to be honest with you. So anyway, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and join the Discord if you haven't already. The link's in the description down below. Thanks. See you guys. Bye.